Well, hello and welcome. I'm Julie and this is Spend Less Craft More. I'm going to start with a little bit of background to myself. Back in 2011, I started a blog called Spend Less Craft More to start documenting my journey of wanting to not be forever purchasing, but to try and concentrate on actually creating. Well, I'm still obviously on that journey. In 2017, I challenged myself to a 100-page spending freeze, scrapbook spending freeze, and I successfully completed that in about 7 months. And it was during that time that I started putting a few process videos on YouTube, and that's when I started my series Spending Freeze 101 to try and help other people who might be on a similar journey. So since then, in about April last year, I started working full-time for the first time in a long time, and my time in the craft room just dried up. I'm not one of those people that can work full-time and still do their craft and still do their YouTube video. That's not me, unfortunately. This year I haven't been working full-time, but I have still been working quite a lot. But my focus at the start of the year was more towards, I did the whole, I watched Marie Kondo's show and read her book, and we tried to do a little bit of decluttering. I started watching and reading a lot about minimalism, and while I certainly don't call myself a minimalist, I have no plans to become a minimalist, but it does resonate with me, the idea of minimizing your stuff. And so that was kind of more my focus just in the house in general, and I just didn't even get into the craft room. I always knew though that was an area I would have to address at some point. So yeah, finally now at the end of the year, looking towards 2020, I'm ready to get back into the craft room. I've just come back from a 3-week holiday to New Zealand with obviously so many photos of that beautiful country, so I'm excited to scrapbook. And at about the same time, I started seeing on YouTube a few videos about people doing a low spend or a no spend 2020, which again, that's really resonated with me because I do want to be more conscious of my consumerism in every aspect of my life. But here I'm going to talk about how it affects my scrapbooking. So, but first I just wanted to show you, so at that time, when I started working and my craft dried up, I had still bought quite a few things, and I guess in the past when I've set myself some sort of challenge, my end goal has always been to be able to buy something. So the reward is you can buy some new fun things to play with, which doesn't sound too bad as long as you're still using them. And especially at my time of life, I've got 3 kids. My oldest is 21, my youngest is 16, so I'm seeing that I'm coming to an end of scrapbooking their life. I'm not at a time when I'm likely to be scrapbooking grandchildren anytime soon. I am obviously going to be scrapbooking my holidays and things like that, but given that I know I'm going to be working quite a bit for the next indefinite amount of time, how much am I even going to be in the scrap room? So my focus really needs to be now using what I've got, but also just gradually downsizing. I don't want to be going, okay, well I've used 100 sheets of paper, for example, so I can buy 100 more. That's not where I want to be. I want to move that focus. So I'll show you what I have got that I know I bought since I either haven't scrapbooked at all or very little. So I know there's at least 2 of these boxes of wooden flourishes. There may even be a couple more. This is just what I know is still out. There's 3 6-inch pads, and this one here I also bought the little embellishment pack to go with it. I've got some random papers, a whole pad, so there's what, 24 sheets in that. And there's some other parts of collections that I've bought. So there's maybe 5 or 10 sheets of paper in each of those with their embellishment pack. So to me, that is a lot of product. I really don't want to be having that much product sitting around for 12 months not being used. It's just not where I want to be. So for my 2020 low spend year, this is my goals. I'm going to do another 100-page spending free, so I want to do 100 pages where I spend absolutely nothing at all. Pocket pages won't count, even though in my holiday scrapbooks I do tend to use those a little bit, but I just feel there's not enough product being used in a pocketed page to justify that sticking that off as one of my 100. Yeah, so 100, 0 spend it all up, possibly with the exception of baby wipes. I know I don't have a heap of those, and if I'm using those it means I'm using my stamps, and that's great. So that's probably the one exception I may purchase before the 100 pages are finished. After that I'm going to move into a low spend. So what I'll allow myself to purchase, genuine replacements of things that have run out, and that's run out or worn out. So that might include, say, blades for my silhouette, adhesives, and it's not, oh, I'd like to try this new type of adhesives, it's I've genuinely run out of double-sided tape, for example. I want to buy some more. As I've sort of already alluded to, I don't want to just treat myself. I don't want to go, well, I've used X amount of product, I can buy that much again. I want to really only buy as minimally as I can. With embellishments, I'm not a big embellishment user, but I seem to have become an embellishment buyer. This, you may or may not have seen before, is my folder. It's just a scrapbook that I've converted into where I keep all my, what I would term my flat embellishments. You can see it really doesn't shut. So I'm not going to purchase any flat embellishments until this actually closes nicely. So that could be, I may never buy an embellishment again, basically, for how long it takes me to use them. I'm also happy to throw things out or donate them as I come across things. That'll be hopefully part of the journey as well. The other thing that I'm going to do is when I do run out of something, and I've already started, is not necessarily run out and buy it straight away, but just write it down. So, and just sit with that and just see, well, wait for that time when actually, well, I've run out of it and I want to use it. So for example, I already know I'm out of white gesso. Well, I've got clear gesso, so I can use that and just wait and see. And it may be like where I live, maybe where you live too, it's very hard to just walk into a scrapbook shop and buy one or two little things. We end up online. Some shops you might have a minimum spend before you can get free postage. A shop I was looking at the other day, and I guess I was looking at a shop, it was just a flat $12 postage. So there's no way you can just go and buy 2 or 3 tiny little items and then whack $12 postage on it. It just doesn't make any sense. So I'm hoping that with my list it'll mean that when I do go perhaps online to purchase something, I've got a couple of genuine essentials to buy before I'm tempted to pad out my cart with a few, you know, pretty papers that perhaps I don't really need. I think that's pretty much all my rules. Now to get myself started, because it has been a long time between scrapbooking, I'm sticking to the advice that I always give myself. I've already cleaned my desk. I think it's really important to start with plenty of space and a clear area. It seems to clear the brain as well, so I've done that. As I said, I've got New Zealand photos to scrapbook, but that was a bit overwhelming. It's a lot of photos and I do want to sort and plan. So I'm actually starting with a different holiday. My family went on a cruise last year to New Caledonia, so I'm starting with the cruise photos, and I might take you over to the desk and show you what I've got. Okay, so as I think I said, I've chosen to start with something easy. I'm not trying to try anything new or different. It's something I'm very comfortable scrapbooking. It's something I'm very excited to scrapbook. So I've got my cruise photos here. They're kind of divided in by day. I haven't really worried about being super chronological like I normally would. All the onboard stuff I'm just going to kind of whack together and not really worry about chronology. A few things that I knew I'd bought just for this for this project was these sort of nautical wooden flourishes, and this sheet of paper I'd actually bought 3 sheets of with this sort of tropical green flower on one side. This is what the other side looked like. So this is where I pulled the colours from the whole kit so that it all goes together. I had also purchased a couple of sheets of this one. That's both sides, which comes from the same collection. It wasn't actually summer when we went, it was winter. If anything, from this side I might use the palm trees. Probably unlikely to use anything else, but I probably bought it more for the stripe anyway, so if I don't use that in these pages I'm not particularly fussed. But I just really quickly went through my papers and pulled out things that kind of match the colours. As you can see, also just a few 6-inch papers, because as you saw I've somehow managed to get quite a collection of those and I want to start using that up. A few 12-inch strips as well. In terms of my embellishments, as well as those ones, I thought I'd try and use some of these other, maybe the flowers or the flourishes, and I've got some other larger anchors which I might be able to use. I've cut on my silhouette a few, I might just put that one here so it's easier to see. Cut some different sort of tropical leaves. They're only white at the moment, only because I didn't have a green that was the right colour to cut them with. So use what you've got. I've cut them in white and I'm going to probably paint them or ink them. And once I've done a few pages I'll know if I want to cut some more and whether it's at these sizes or a slightly different size. So that's that. With my titles, what I always like to do in my holiday scrapbooks to keep it kind of unified is I'll do it on my silhouette using the same font throughout. I've already done a file of the main titles that I know I want to use, so the names of the different islands and things like that. And I'll actually stick the titles on last, so if there's a few other titles I want to add I can whack those in, print them all at the same time and stick them on without risk of losing any bits and pieces. So that's my basic kit. I'll probably add a few little bits and pieces in there. Yeah, but I'm looking forward to seeing how I go with that. Yeah, so if the idea of doing a low spend year or a spending freeze resonates with you, I'd love to hear about it, and hopefully I'll see you guys all again soon. One more thing I'll just show you while I'm thinking of it. I did actually start, this will be my title page for my cruise, so this is just a big full page silhouette cut, and I've stamped the name of the ship on there. I think I'm probably just going to finish it off with a few little embellies and maybe tuck a few of these, probably crop some photos down and tuck those around. So that's one page started. Okay, see you later.